What's up, y'all? Farmer Q here with another one. Today we're going to be reacting to another video, not just any video. Today's video, we're going to step outside of the box a bit, if we can, that is. If we can. No, but we're going to be reacting to a video from the channel Animalogic. Specifically, we're going to be talking about pitcher plants and how they affect their surrounding environment. So without further ado, I present to you, you won't believe what pitcher plants charge in rent. So let's get it.
The deadliest traps are often the simplest. These carnivores don't need fancy trap jaws or sticky tentacles to trap their prey.
What the heck?
Instead, they use literal pitfalls. The pitcher plant is the kind of place you can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave.
That's insane. I know y'all have probably seen these before, but these plants are pretty interesting. So yeah.
I'm Tasha the Amazon, and you're watching Floralogic. Pitcher plants are found all over the world and have evolved separately several times.
Okay.
Pitchers are nature's way of solving the engineering problem of how to get nutrients from airborne species without them flying away.
So let's touch on that a little bit then. How to get nutrients from airborne species without them flying away. That's pretty brilliant. These plants have really just kind of solved an issue that has been going on forever, but they have made it effective. And I feel like there's some cool and effective ways we can use this in our garden, actually, but I'll touch on that a little bit later. But I just wanted to really just highlight that real quick.
Like all carnivorous plants, pitcher plants grow in areas with poor soil quality and high humidity.
Okay.
The
Okay.
roots are specialized for capturing water, but the nutrients are absorbed through the pitcher. The most common strategy is attracting insects with bright colors and sweet nectar.
Okay. So that's a good point. Attracting insects with bright colors and sweet nectar. So automatically, when I think of how I can use this, I'm automatically like, hey, I can take a potted version of this plant, bring it outside, harden it off a little bit before I do, but bring it outside and put them around the garden. You know, there's always these little flies landing on your leaves and all this other crud like that. And there's always just flying insects that might even be eating your plant. But if they were left with a sugary snack, something on the side there to kind of munch on, maybe they would prefer that over your plant. So I think this year I'm gonna actually be bringing some of these outside and seeing what we can do with some of the pitcher plants. But let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
The rim of the pitcher is slippery when wet, and once the prey steps on it, it falls to its impending death. The insides of the structure are virtually impossible to climb, and the pitcher
Look
is
at that.
full of digestive juices that start acting soon after the prey falls in. After
Terrible
the
way
fall,
to
the soft
go
tissue is
away.
broken down into nutritious nitrogen and phosphorus. The prey usually dies of exhaustion or drowning. It's like falling into a well of gastric acid or a sarlacc.
What a terrible way to go.
Pitcher plants are death traps to many, but can also be safe havens. Some frogs, for example, have mutualistic relationships with them.
Okay, so check that out then. You might actually be drawing more beneficials to your garden while getting rid of the things that are actually taking away from your garden. So you see that little froggy there, maybe a lizard would do the same thing. They would find that little cranny and just hoist up inside there and just be sniping bugs from the side. So wow, that's pretty awesome. I know I've actually seen little frogs, maybe not like that because that's some kind of tropical frog wherever this plant is natively based maybe, but I've seen frogs in the garden and they love places to hide and they love little holes and little inserts. So man, frogs are super good for getting rid of insects in your garden. So peep this knowledge.
During the dry season, some frogs check into roomy pitcher plants to hide from predators. The cost of admission is poop. The shape
Then they fertilize the plants with their poop because they live there. That's so cool.
The genus Nepenthes grows their pitchers at the end of their leaves. This genus has over 150 species found
Okay.
mostly in Southeast Asia.
Okay. So that explains it all. The poor soil quality, the high humidity. Southeast Asia is where these plants are derived from. So what I would do with these, I would get a pot with maybe not so special soil in it because your plants are going to be getting and sequestering a lot of their nutrients through the pest control aspects of what they have to offer. So I'm going to give them a nice, decent compost base with maybe more aggregate material in the soil blend so that they can provide their own nutrients. I don't want to toxify the plants. They're going to be drawing plenty of bugs, plenty of insects and things like that to be able to keep that thing going for themselves. Look, they're found in Madagascar right here too. That's pretty cool. Okay, we'll keep it moving.
Several of these species grow in vines on other trees.
Their prey are usually insects, but some species are big enough that reptiles or even small mammals fall in.
Whoa.
Nepenthes raja is one of these species. But in addition to small vertebrates and insects, this pitcher plant has another food source: poo.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. There's pitcher plants that can eat mice. We haven't seen what this is gonna do yet, but I'm assuming right now. But hey, if this pitcher plant can get rid of mice, we might have found us a little buffer to kind of keep some of those pests down. You probably have to have quite a bit of pitcher plants to keep a local mice population down. But hey, every little bit counts, right? So let's keep it moving.
Some rodents, such as tree shrews and rats, get attracted by the large amounts of nectar the plant produces. The mammal sits on the rim of the pitcher and licks the inside of the lid. At the same time, it poops to mark its feeding territory, and the droppings fall in the pitcher, where they're easily absorbed.
Oh, okay. So I was kind of getting a little expansive with my ideas there, but that's why we're reacting, right? We're just kind of give a genuine response to it. But no, even though the mice might not die as a result of the actual traps, they nutrify the traps, and that's cool, I guess. I mean, I'll still control the mice because, I don't really need mice nibbling on my plants and everything. And I'm a backyard gardener at this point. So at this point, things like this are very effective for me. You have to also remember where you are and why you're using these things. So because I'm in a backyard garden, I might be able to have 5 of these plants in a pot and just kind of have them along the perimeter of my garden and have these be the flying insect draws and keep these around to kind of keep those numbers down. But if you're on a farm, it might not be the case. If you're on a farm, you're just like, that's just like some little novelty stuff. I got to have a more broad approach on how to deal with this thing. So you got to keep in mind your situation when you're trying to get a solution for the situation. So we'll get right back to it.
A classic example of mutualism. The rodent gets calorie-rich nectar, and the plant gets nutrient-rich turds.
Hey, mutualism at its best.
Are literal death traps to some animals, but to others, they're a fundamental part of life. Some mosquito larvae, for example, can only develop in the juices inside Nepenthes pitchers.
Wow.
They survive by eating the larvae of other animals whose eggs happen to fall in.
So I'm going to go ahead and put a nice little stake on the fact that the mosquitoes that are going to fall inside your trap wherever you are, since you're not in Southeast Asia, they're probably not going to be able to survive inside the liquid. In fact, they're probably just going to be plant nutrients just like everything else. But I won't confirm that, but it's worth looking at if you get one of these pitcher plants. Hey, do I have little mosquito larvae swimming around inside these digestive fluids? But I doubt that'll be a problem for us over here on the state side. So here we go back into it.
Similarly, the Nepenthes bicalcarata, also known as the fanged pitcher plant, is host to swimming ants.
Whoa!
Ants live in the plant's tendrils and rely on the pitcher contents for food. They usually ignore small prey, such as these microhyla tadpoles.
Swimming ants?
Prey, like this Aristolis hoverfly larva. In exchange for free meals, ants give the plant nitrogen as feces and keep the pitcher clean by taking out rotting animals.
I don't know if y'all can see my facial reaction right now, but what?
Arthropod can take up to 12 hours. So
12 hours?
Have to work for their daily bread.
Wait a minute. We're sitting over here complaining about having to work and suffer the cold for an hour and 30 minutes, whatever we're doing. But man, these ants are sitting over here underwater, fishing out a insect larvae from the intestinal juices of another plant so that they can provide themselves with an actual meal. That is resilience and that is survivability. So whenever y'all are shivering with your little jacket on in the cold and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so cold or it's so hot out here and I'm sweating, remember, there is an ant out there that is underwater securing his meal when you're above ground. Let's get back to it.
Are home to the trumpet pitchers.
These differ from Nepenthes in that the entire leaf forms a pitcher. The results can be amazing. The cobra lilies of the West Coast look like a snake about to strike. The sun pitchers of South America have
so
slits
beautiful.
that allow them to get rid of excess water.
It's like the leaf just like seals
Here in
itself
Canada,
and just
trumpet
has
pitchers
formed to
are
make the
known
perfect little
catch young
funnel.
salamanders from time to time.
These plants, along with other members of the genus Sarracenia, host larvae of mosquitoes and other insects. When prey falls in, the larvae eat it and turn it into feces, which are easier to absorb by the pitcher plant.
Ah,
Here we have some
okay.
Nepenthes species. These ones are easy to recognize.
We got some
because the
complex
pitchers come
mutual
straight out of
relationships
the end
going
of
on.
the leaf. The midline of the leaf throws a little tendril, which has a bud in the end and becomes a pitcher. These guys are a little small to be eating things here in the studio, but out in the wild, they would be munching on biting midges, mosquitoes, other things that we're not super fond of.
There's a size for everything.
Because of the conditions they grow in naturally, pitcher plants have very specific soil and humidity requirements. There are too many species to give blanket advice, so please make sure you do your research if you get one.
So to her point, if you get some of these plants and you're not in a humid environment, you might want to look at planting them around dense vegetation so that you can create a microclimate for these plants to survive. Because a lot of times we plant plants and we're like, oh, this doesn't work for me. Oh, this is not so good right here. This is not great for me right here. But in all actuality, you can make microclimates within your climate to support certain things. And then if you put this off in a shady, dark area, all your bugs and all these little flying insects, when they're trying to get out of the sun, they're going to go right into the Death Star. So keep that in mind. That's awesome. Get back to it, huh?
The most common way that people damage these little guys at home is by feeding them human food. So please do not feed your pitcher plants burgers.
Oh my gosh.
They might be super into rat turds, but that does not mean they'll eat anything.
Don't feed your plants
What
burgers.
talk about next? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe for new videos every week, and I'll see you soon.
Hey, thank you. So that'll wrap that up for today. Gosh, I learned a lot within this small amount of time. Animalogic is an amazing channel. I'm going to leave a link down below to the video. I'm going to leave a link down below to the channel. Y'all might know the channel well. They're a pretty well-known channel, but hey, I'm going to share the word because they just gave some insights that are straight up valuable and straight up applicable in certain situations. So peep the knowledge, and y'all know what that means. That's Farmer Q out.